Most divers think buoyancy is just about floating up or sinking down. Perfect buoyancy affects your air consumption, your safety, your trim, your stress level, and whether you look calm underwater or completely out of control. Welcome to Valkyrie Divers. My name is Gerard, and today we'll break down exactly what experienced divers do to achieve perfect buoyancy and how you can dramatically improve yours. Buoyancy is one of the most important skills in scuba diving. Good buoyancy helps you conserve gas, avoid damaging reefs, maintain depth safely, and dramatically reduce task loading underwater. Poor buoyancy causes stress, rapid breathing, uncontrolled ascents and descents, and exhaustion. It's one of the biggest differences between a beginner diver and an experienced diver. So, what do we mean by buoyancy? Buoyancy is simply the balance between sinking and floating. If you are heavier than water that you displace, you are negatively buoyant and you sink. If you are lighter than the water that you displace, you are positively buoyant and you float. Perfect buoyancy means becoming neutrally buoyant, that happy place where you neither sink nor float. And here's the important part. Buoyancy is never static underwater. Your wetsuit compresses with depth. Your lungs expand and contract as you breathe, and your tank becomes lighter during the dive. Buoyancy constantly changes during your dive. The biggest buoyancy mistake that most divers make is carrying too much weight. It's not just true of beginner divers, it's also true of many experienced divers. Many divers think that if they're carrying too much weight, they can simply compensate for that by having more air in their BCD. The problem is that the air in their BCD creates instability and makes buoyancy much harder to control. This is because the air in your BCD expands as you ascend and contracts as you descend. And during your dive, you are continuously ascending and descending. You rarely stay at exactly the same depth. When the air expands, you become more positively buoyant, which makes you ascend faster. Remember, when we ascend at the end of a dive, we're releasing air for exactly that reason. Conversely, when the air contracts, you become more negatively buoyant, and so descend faster, which causes the air to contract more and makes you descend even faster. Now, you could compensate for this by releasing air as you ascend and adding air as you descend. Not an exact science, but useful if you want to look like a diving equivalent of a yo-yo and going up and down and using your air in your BCD rather than for breathing. So it's important to be properly weighted at the beginning of your dive. A properly weighted diver should float at eye level with an empty BCD and slowly sink after exhaling, and should be able to hold a safety stop comfortably near the end of their dive. Small changes in weighting can make a huge difference. So you should check your weighting at the beginning of any dive where you are using new equipment, haven't dived for some time, have changed your body weight or fitness levels since you last dived. The best way of doing this is at the beginning of your dive, jump in the water and holding a normal breath, let all of the air out of your BCD. You should float with the water surface level at the top of your mask and should slowly descend when you exhale. Another way of checking your weighting is, during the course of your dive, whilst you're hovering neutrally buoyant, have your dive buddy feel the uppermost part of your BCD. That's the part of your BCD nearest the surface. So if you're vertical, it would be up on your shoulder, but if you are horizontal, remember, you won't necessarily be at your shoulders. Or if you're slightly declined, it may be at the bottom of your BCD, but have them just feel the BCD and see how much air is in that BCD. If there is more than just a little, you are likely to be overweighted. The next thing to look to in perfecting your buoyancy is lung control. Your lungs are your fine-tuned buoyancy system. Once you've got yourself correctly weighted, you use your lungs for fine-tune adjustment. A deep breath will slightly increase your buoyancy, and a slow exhale will slightly decrease it. Having got their weighting right, experienced divers make tiny buoyancy adjustments using breathing, not constant BCD inflation and deflation. Slow, controlled breathing enables you to slowly adjust your depth in the water. Remember, fast breathing is going to create instability. Calm breathing creates control. As a dive instructor told me many years ago, everything happens slowly underwater. When you breathe in, you don't immediately ascend slightly. There's a delay. The same with exhaling. You don't immediately descend. There's a delay. So do your breath and wait for it. It's going to then impact. It's worth practicing breath control underwater. Start thinking about how much air you have in your lungs. Are they full or only half full? If they feel half full and you are neutrally buoyant, then you can exhale a bit to descend and inhale a bit to ascend, and then return to the half full level to stay neutrally buoyant. If they're half full and you feel yourself slowly descending, then you possibly need to keep them 3/4 full. This is something that you'll start to do instinctively with practice and experience. Perfect buoyancy is closely connected to trim. Trim is your body position underwater, whether you are head up and feet down, or lean down to your left side or your right. Vertical divers, those with their head above their legs, create drag, stir up silt when their fins are too close to the ground, waste energy as they are less hydrodynamic, and lose control more easily. Experienced divers stay horizontal and streamlined. Good trim improves buoyancy automatically. To get your trim right, you need to think about the distribution of weight when you are diving. Some of us have muscular legs, but not muscular torso. So our lower half is heavier than our upper half. To compensate, we can distribute the weights that we carry higher up on our body, such as pouches at the top of our BCD or strapped to our tank. Other people may need ankle weights if their legs are lighter than their upper body. Experienced divers will consider where they carry their torch, camera, DSMB, spare mask if they carry one, etc. Most will aim to have them evenly balanced on their left and the right, or attached to the front or back of their BCD. Experienced divers will also look at the effect of what they're carrying on drag. They aim to keep all their equipment tightly close to their body, not hanging down creating drag. Secure hoses, especially your alternate air, and keep torches, cameras, etc. in pockets if possible, either on your BCD or pockets on your shorts. On your dive, have your buddy look at your profile in the water and let you know after the dive if there are ways you can improve your profile. Just remember to ask your buddy to check before you jump in the water. It's a lot harder to ask him to check once you are already under the water. Good buoyancy also means moving efficiently through the water. An experienced diver will take few, slow fin kicks and glide. Gliding forward in a straight line, neither ascending nor descending. The aim is to be hydrodynamic, similar to a sports car being aerodynamic, not like an 18-wheeler truck. Divers who continuously use their hands underwater are usually compensating for poor buoyancy or trim. It's best to keep your hands and your arms out of the way, either crossed on your chest, tightly against your side, or together in front of you with your elbows locked. Efficient finning techniques, especially frog kicks, help maintain stability and reduce silt disturbance. The calmer your movement, the better your buoyancy becomes. Most buoyancy problems come from a few common mistakes. Carrying too much weight, fast, shallow breathing, poor trim, or poor finning technique. The good news is that every one of these problems can be fixed with practice. The fastest way to improve your buoyancy is deliberate practice. These practice routines can be done as part of each and every dive. First, get yourself properly weighted and get your trim under control. Everything evenly balanced and tucked away. And during your dive, practice hovering motionless, either when gliding or on your safety stop, horizontal or in the cross-legged position. Practice controlling depth using breathing only. Consider how full your lungs are all the time. Practice having the lungs less full or more full and see the effect. Practice finning and gliding, no use of hands. Practice safety stops without touching anything. Difficult, I know, if there's a current, but do it when there isn't a current. The goal is to become calm, slow, and controlled underwater. Perfect buoyancy becomes even more important as you do more advanced diving. Underwater photography, wreck diving, cave diving, and technical divings all rely on precise buoyancy control. It reduces stress, improves safety, and allows you to focus on the dive instead of constantly fighting the water. Perfect buoyancy isn't about looking impressive underwater. It's about safety, control, efficiency, and protecting the underwater world around you. To be more relaxed and controlled you come, the easier diving becomes. Thank you for watching. Please let me know if you liked the video and please subscribe. I look forward to seeing you on the next video, and remember, dive calm, dive safe.